SeatGeek is the easiest way to find the best deals on tickets to pretty much any live event. Concerts, sports, theater, comedy, whatever you want. Download the SeatGeek app today and enter promo code SEATS to save $20 on your first purchase.
Welcome back to the Sports Beat KC podcast. This is Jesse Newell, KU beat reporter for the Kansas City Star. I'm joined this week, very special guest, live from Springfield, Massachusetts, where Bill Self is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame later today. Gary Bedore, KUHoops.com, beat writer alongside me. Gary, how you doing in Springfield?
Good. Things are going pretty well out here so far.
Yeah, well, I just mostly wanted to talk about that. I mean, it's kind of got to be a surreal thing for Bill Self, but I wanted to get to some details about yesterday. I know that was the main press conference setting for people, and also Bill Self kind of got fitted for his orange jacket and all those things out there. So can you just describe yesterday kind of the festivities that went on, and also the mood that Bill Self was in, kind of getting this honor and starting to realize that he's going to be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because Bill Self probably has never smiled more in a day where the smiles are totally sincere. I mean, he was just soaking it in and having a good time. He had to get there for an autograph session with fans. It was a planned activity. Fans could pay to get pictures and autographs of all 11 representatives of the hall or the people going in themselves. So he got there early, and I guess he immediately looked up and saw his picture on the third level of the rotunda building of the hall. They line all the pictures of everybody in the hall are at the top of the building, and he must have somehow spotted his face right away, because to get a good look, you got to go up on the elevator to the third floor. But he saw himself, and they put his picture next to Fog Allen, and on the other side of him is Rebecca Lobo of this class, and three faces down in his row up there is Dr. James Naismith. So he's well displayed up there. So he saw that right away and thought, he didn't see Lobo's picture, so he thought, wow, they already put me up there for some reason. But then he found out everybody got put up there. Then he went to the autograph session and the press conference where they give you the orange jacket, and that was pretty interesting. They all gave a little speech for about a minute, and he was just really happy and soaking it all in. And then he had an hour-long session at a table with any media that wanted to talk to him, and he was great. He talked about the day, the specifics of getting the orange jacket and all that stuff. And then people were asking him about the state of the game of basketball and stuff. For probably the first time in a long time, he wasn't necessarily the person all the media went to. Like a Big 12 media day, he's always swamped. And
yes.
Some of the other coaches get nobody, but people were interested in Tracy McGrady, and Rebecca Lobo, being from around here, got a lot of media. So Self had just more of a normal, rather than a zoo around him. So it was pretty interesting. They put a little trophy. They give everybody a little Emmy Award type thing. It's hard to describe what it is. It's not a statue. It says Bill Self at the bottom, and I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter. But he was sitting there with that, and it's real heavy, and he was playing with that a little bit and just really happy. He kept saying that he's not worthy of it, but he'll take it and he won't give it back. The honor of being in the hall at the age of 54. So he had a good day, and he's soaking it all in. He said some person in his life told him, this weekend shouldn't be like a wedding, whereas the dad, you want to make sure everybody has a good time. The person said, you enjoy this weekend with your family, and all your friends will figure out a way to have a good time in Springfield.
Yeah, more like your birthday. This is celebrating you, so you do what you want to do. I had a birthday last week. I got to go to the restaurant I wanted to in town. I got to eat the cake I wanted to. The wife made the delightful peanut butter and chocolate cake. So yeah, this is like Self's birthday here, like an extended birthday celebration. You do what you're gonna do, and basically everybody
Yeah.
else can figure out the rest. I wanted to ask about the Fog Allen thing because it doesn't seem like that is a coincidence. I mean, is that something that the Hall rearranged, or that they made sure that Bill was kind of around those other KU people? Because, like you said, I think that's got to be, for Bill Self, a little bit overwhelming to think that, not only is he close to Naismith in
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame, but Fog Allen is Allen Fieldhouse. I mean, to be next to those guys in a place of honor, it seems like that might make everything kind of sink in.
Yeah. The top rotunda, the way the pictures are, I don't. They're in kind of a light encasement or something, and I wonder if they can just, technology pop the pictures into different locations if they want to.
Yeah.
They're. I ran a. I thought I ran a photo of that, but of the little squares of his face and stuff. But I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe, like that show Tic Tac Toe, where you have these little squares up there, you could pop different ones in there. Like if they go, oh, there's Fog Allen, let's put Bill Self in there and move whoever was next to Fog.
Yeah, it seems like a
So,
cool gesture, whatever it is, to kind of put those guys
yeah,
together, and it would make. I mean, I think it would be humbling for Bill Self to think about like the greatest place of honor that basketball has, and having your photo up there next to, the legends of the game and the legends that KU basketball has had as well.
yeah, and he said that this class was all sort of in the vicinity of each other, with Lobo next to him, and I didn't look for all the other 10 to see if they're all surrounding Self, but there was 2 spaces available in that row, I believe, so it'll be interesting who else appears by Self, because there's a picture of a whistle, in that row, and that'll be somebody someday, so they'll pop a photo of a future inductee in there.
Yeah, I know you talked too, Gary, about the orange jackets, and it's kind of funny to see those pictures. But you described in your story a little bit about that and how he got it slipped on and kind of what it felt like. Can you go through just the scene of Bill Self getting that jacket, and again maybe something that made the whole thing feel pretty official?
Yeah, he was the last of the 11 to walk on the red carpet toward the stage. The news conference was kind of a ceremony first. It wasn't really a news conference. That part happened after, during the one-on-ones, but he was the last of the 11 because in alphabetical order, Self is actually the last one this year with S. So he walked up, and the director of the hall had the jacket extended, so he slipped it on Self, and then he sat down, again smiling, really happy. After that, they all gave like a 1-minute speech. So he enjoyed the jacket. He was joking about it because it's orange because obviously the color of the ball. And somebody asked him if the material was like a ball. I don't know why they couldn't see, because we were sitting right there with Self. No, it's a smooth suit coat jacket. So I would think he'll hang that up somewhere in his office probably, or who knows what you can do with the jacket, because he's probably not going to wear it much, like he said.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. That would be kind of intimidating on the sideline, KU versus Kentucky, or whoever, North Carolina, or even I guess it'd be better off against a coach who isn't in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, you just slip on the orange Hall of Fame jacket and try to get a little intimidation going.
Yeah, and Calipari's got one too, so.
Yeah, so again, wouldn't work for Calipari as well. That wouldn't be the intimidation. Again, we're talking with Gary Bedore live from Springfield, Massachusetts. Gary, for those of us who haven't been to the Hall of Fame, I'm not sure if you've been there before, but can you just describe it a little bit? What stands out from the trip there, and kind of just give us a general feeling about what that location is like?
It's downtown Springfield. Um, you pull in and there's a big parking lot, and there's a couple of restaurants connected to the hall to the left and right of the main entrance. You walk in, and outside the hall are some statues. There's one of James Naismith with 3 kids and a peach basket, and underneath that are sayings, favorite sayings of people that are in the hall. So Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, now Bill Self's got one of his dad's quotes inscripted into the marble or whatever it is, and they've added a walk of fame where there are these circular monuments, and it says with thanks to Bill's dad, mom, and I believe his 3 mentors are on there: Larry Brown, Leonard Hamilton, and Eddie Sutton. And Bill Self's signature is on that, so that's pretty neat. They're all going to be lined up in a row on a Walk of Fame type deal, but his is already up. And when you go in, there's a big banquet hall where they had the ceremony, but you get on these elevators, or you can walk the stairs to the 3rd floor, and then most people just there's 3, 2, 1, and you exhibits on each floor, so you just kind of in a circular walk around. And yesterday they had a blanket of James Naismith, one of the few artifacts from his life, I guess, that's still out there. And I believe there's a theater where you can watch movies and stuff, but we didn't have time to go there.
Yeah, you were working. You were snapping photos, shooting videos, posting stories, all that stuff. And again, I encourage people to check it out, kansascity.com, or if you guys want to go to kuhoops.com, or I'd love to encourage you guys to get to the KU Hoops app, which completely free on both iPhone and Android, the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Completely free download. You can get all the coverage every single day. Gary will deliver you your KU notes of the day every single day, but all that stuff is available on there. I did want to talk about that statue out front because it was a talking point yesterday. First off, I wrote a story a couple years ago for the Topeka Capital Journal about the reason for that quote and Bill Self Sr. Being on there. And the quote is, "Don't worry about the mules, just load the wagon." And basically, it's from an old country song that Bill's dad liked to listen to, and it just basically means don't worry about kind of the circumstances surrounding you, just basically do your job. And I know a lot of people thought that Bill Self, part of the reason that he loves toughness and that he values toughness is because of what his father did and what he displayed for him growing up. So there's that aspect of it. But then also the freak out of the day, which is on that marble statue, plaque, whatever you say, it says Kansas coach, and it says Kansas University for Bill Self. So I know a lot of fans, at least on Twitter, sending to me, were freaking out over it saying Kansas University instead of University of Kansas.
Yeah. Well, there's always that age-old argument because for a while one of the newspapers called it Kansas University and never backed off on that till last year. And I believe technically on the logo of the school, I think it is Kansas University, but I didn't study that closely if the way those words were formed that it was quicker to say Kansas University, but I don't know. I mean, Bill didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those hot topic points, Gary. We know that, and a lot of people, when you see that, it just immediately kind of triggers in people a very strong emotion. So again, that was just something I saw a bunch on social media yesterday. We did get a question from Brad Hope here. He asked, what has changed in Self since he arrived at the Hall of Fame, and what has stayed the same? So I guess I'll ask you that about Bill Self. What has been the same about Bill Self when he's been at the Hall of Fame, and then what has kind of been different about him in this day that he's been there in Springfield, Mass?
Well, he stayed the same in that he's pretty engaging during interviews. He still, immediately he was asking people if they were going to the Chiefs game that night,
Yep.
stuff like that, where he's more interested in, or he would see a name tag of a guy and ask him, something about his job or so in that respect, he's just still the inquisitive Bill who's a people person kind of. What's different is probably that he's willing to enjoy it and accept people's congratulations without, saying I don't deserve this all the time. He's just enjoying it, like you said, probably like a special birthday or something. He said he's gotten to know the members of the class pretty well, and which is no surprise. He said he really likes getting to know George McGinnis, the old ABA, NBA player. So not too much different about him, but definitely he's told himself to enjoy this, and whatever personal friend told him that, and I'm guessing it was either Larry Brown or Barry Henson, because Barry's such a good guy and good friend of Bill, and Larry Brown has good advice for people at the Hall. He's told people like Allen Iverson, giving him pointers about his speech and stuff. So for some reason, I'm picturing one of those two guys has told Bill to enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, and like you said, Bill has always been one to deflect credit. He'll talk about the great players that Kansas has. He'll talk about the assistant coaches all the time when he talks about consecutive Big 12 titles. He'll talk about we and talk about kind of the we as the coaching staff. But again, this is a weekend for him to not say we, to not group everyone in with himself, because this really is an individual honor. And so Bill Self is going into the Hall of Fame as Bill Self, and his photo is going up there, and nobody else's. So while he is really good all the time about giving credit to others, deflecting the credit, trying to make it about others and a group, and again, nobody does everything on their own, but this is kind of a moment for him and for him to enjoy. Real quickly, I know, Gary, you kind of got a list of all the people that were showing up. Can you give us just a quick rundown of a few names, notable names are going to be there for this ceremony for Bill Self when he's inducted into the Hall of Fame later today?
Yeah, Danny Manning is here, I think someone said. I'm going to go over to their hotel and see what's going on. Christian Moody is here already. I don't laugh. I like Christian. That's probably why I laughed. He's a doctor now, Dr. Christian Moody.
Yeah.
Russell Robinson. Mario Chalmers is here already. I guess a lot are coming in today. Russell and Mario, I guess, have been spotted working out already at the hotel, so they're getting after it already. Let's see. Ted Owens is coming in today with a bunch of Bill Self's friends from Oklahoma. They're flying out of Tulsa.
Okay.
For some reason, Mulai's name popped into my head from that list. Mulai Yang is coming. Who else? Brandon Rush, I think, was on the list.
I mean, it's crazy to think about all these guys.
All the coaches.
Yeah.
Dooley. Aaron Miles can't make it because of the hurricane. Even though he's changed jobs in California, he was living in Florida, out working for Dooley, and supposedly Dooley will make it. But pretty much every coach. Now, KU's current staff, they're all coming too. Jeremy Case is already here. I believe Jarence is already here. So I think Bill said about 60 players from all of his stops, 30-ish from KU. Jeff Hawkins, Simeon. Langford can't make it. He's already back in China to play ball. Some guys already had to go back overseas, like Perry Ellis. But if people want to check that link, that should be online also. The list of all the people coming.
Great. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Gary a little bit about KU basketball recruiting, and then really quickly about KU football and the start of the season they had, and also welcoming back Mark Mangino.
SeatGeek is the easiest way to find the best deals on tickets to pretty much any live event. Concerts, sports, theater, comedy, whatever you want. Download the SeatGeek app today and enter promo code SEATS to save $20 on your first purchase.
All right, we're back, Gary. Some big news for KU basketball last week, picking up a top 25 recruit, or top 30 recruit, used to be a top 25 recruit. Silvio De Souza, a 6'9" big man, originally from Angola. What did you think about this commitment for KU? It was the first one in the Jayhawks class.
Yeah, they got him out of Angola and IMG Academy in Florida. Supposed to be a powerful forward type. I think we're listing him at 6'9", maybe 240. People were surprised he didn't visit Maryland because one of his friends goes there, and I think they came to town, and he and his guardian just saw the perfect fit for him, being a big man, and he decided to not make an official to Maryland, and I think he was looking at the Florida schools since he plays there now, but a good addition for the inside, because he's supposed to be a pretty rugged rebounder and inside player. His guardian actually knows Larry Brown. I don't think that was a big factor or anything, but I do believe Larry has seen him play, and everybody's pretty high on De Souza. He hasn't played basketball a ton of years. I think he grew up playing soccer like some other former KU players, and I just think people think he's a really good prospect.
Yeah, this sounds like an old story for KU, getting all these guys. You think about Udoka Azubuike, you think about Sheck Diallo. I mean, kind of the same sort of path where you're coming over from a country where soccer is the first sport, and they are learning basketball on the fly, but also big men who seem to have pretty good athleticism and skills. So, again, a good pickup for KU's class. It is kind of an interesting class for KU this year because of the transfers that are coming in. You have Diedrich and KJ Lawson, who will be eligible in the 2018-19 season, along with Charlie Moore. And so KU could lose a lot of guys after next year, but they also kind of have, I say it's the first commitment for the 2018 class, but yet KU already has kind of three guys waiting in the wings to take over some of those spots because they already picked up those transfers from last year.
Yeah, I think he'd like to get another point guard. Devon Dotson has already visited. They would, I'm sure they'd like even more than one guard. Emmanuel quickly visited. He's a point guard recently, but Kentucky is supposed to be the heavy favorite for him. He was supposed to visit Miami this weekend, one of his three finalists, but the hurricane threat has postponed that visit. Then he visits Kentucky, and we'll probably decide after that. But there's a big list. There's a lot of guys, there's a guy named Jalen Carey who's a point guard who's going to visit. And like always, there's going to be a ton of people visiting for late night, both seniors and, juniors, sophomores.
Yeah, so Bill Self.
So I would think he would sign 5 or more guys maybe.
Yeah, Bill Self goes Hall of Fame, and then immediately after, late night starts, recruiting starts. It's back to the grind pretty quickly after this weekend ends. Yeah,
definitely. And late night will be the 30th of September. Boot camp the 2 weeks before that. So, like you said, they're going to be busy, and yes, they can hit the road for in-home visits, which must really be amazing for those coaches because it seems like every day they're making an in-home, and these players are from everywhere, so they're just zipping around the country visiting kids in their homes.
Hey, Gary, I think we found the perfect use for Bill Self's orange jacket. Recruiting visits, right?
Yeah, because that would be perfect. Great conversation piece, and I think he gets a ring too, so
There,
he can
that's what
bring.
you need. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I was thinking about a ring because that's what you'd want. Just kind of just subtly have the nice shiny Hall of Fame ring, and oh, did you see my really shiny ring? Yeah, I'm in the Hall of Fame. That'd probably be a good recruiting start pitch, right? Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I mean, and that'd be easier to bring because I doubt he wants to bring his whole box of Big 12 title rings on planes, but maybe he does. Maybe he brings all of his rings from all of his conference titles and the Final Four and all that stuff, the national title. Maybe when they take private jets, at least you
Yep.
wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to be holding all those rings probably on commercial flights.
You wouldn't want to be putting those through the metal detector on the insecurity.
Yeah, or you drop them and all the rings go flying everywhere.
Yeah, probably not the best thing. But again, I think the staff will take any advantage they can in recruiting. And while there are some other coaches out there, again, we talked about him, John Calipari, Roy Williams, that are in the Hall of Fame, it certainly wouldn't hurt for Bill Self to kind of use the same sort of thing in his own favor. I wanted to really quickly talk about KU football before we got out of here, Gary. I know you were at the first game. Before we get to the current team, let's talk about celebrating the past team. I know you sat down with Mark Mangino when he came back last week, and I'll tell you what, that is, as you talk about Bill Self coming into the Hall of Fame and kind of being overwhelmed and humbled and happy and smiling all the time. I really have never seen a more jovial Mark Mangino as we saw last week when he came back to Lawrence. Can you just give your general impressions of talking to him for 20 minutes and kind of the feeling you got from him when he came back to be celebrated as part of that 2007-2008 Orange Bowl team?
Yeah, it's kind of a similar deal. He was really enjoying it himself. He mentioned about 20 players when somebody asked him about the Orange Bowl. He said he's got all their names in his phone and he keeps in touch with, tons of his players. I think he said half of his contacts out of his 500 in his phone are players. He also was real relaxed with the media and really enjoying it. He said you could tell that, again, of all of his stops, he really liked Lawrence. Just the way he gave the quote about it's a nice place. It's a really nice place. He talked a lot about the Orange Bowl game, that narrow victory, and how important that was to him. And that was a big win over Virginia Tech. And he talked about Aqib Talib a lot and Anthony Collins, who went into the Ring of Fame. What's that called?
The Ring of Honor. Yeah, the Ring of Honor for KU football. Yeah, he was telling some great stories too. He talked about Chris Fowler of ESPN telling him that he couldn't beat Virginia Tech, and he said that that conversation happened in front of Mary Jane, who was his wife, and he said that they basically lined up the locker rooms. He said it could have been wallpaper of media clippings, how they were being disrespected against Virginia Tech. And then he also gave a great quote. I think you kind of pointed this out to me too, that you took away from it, which was the quote about they're unlucky to be playing us, sort of thing. Like, hey, I feel good about my team's chances going into this game. I'm sorry, it was Oklahoma, where everybody said, hey, you got lucky you didn't play Oklahoma. And he was telling people, well, they got lucky they didn't play us because we were the ones that were really good that year. That was the best team that I've ever had. So it was kind of fascinating to hear him talk and be very open and, again, very candid with the media about some of these stories that he remembered from 10 years ago.
Yeah, he was. And I guess at the game itself, people that saw him said he was really enjoying it and watching those ceremonies. And then to go out there with his team, because the team got put in the Hall of Fame too. That was a great weekend for him. I think the way his career went, he's got a lot of fond memories of KU, and his whatever about bad feelings about the end of it. Like everything else, time heals, because it's highly doubtful he's gonna coach again. Although I think he said you never know. but he had a great weekend, and no hard feelings of Mangino. Obviously, there's a whole new regime in place, pretty much, and he seemed to really. You were there too. He just seemed to like you said, be really relaxed and complimentary of everybody.
Yeah, well, and again, Keith Philippe was there, and I can envision after every Denver Broncos game, like media members lining up at the outside of the locker room doors to race in there to talk to Keith Philippe, because the guy is just, he steals the show with cameras and microphones around. Just a great quote, very candid, very open as well. So a good weekend for those guys.
Yeah.
KU opens up with an impressive 38-16 victory over Southeast Missouri State. I thought Southeast Missouri was, played pretty. I thought they were a pretty good team for a 1AA school, and I think KU played pretty well to win by that margin. But I don't want to talk too much because I think a lot of people will be listening to this when we'll know a lot more about KU football, because here in about, looking at this 28 hours, KU's going to take on Central Michigan at home. And so I don't want to ruin that game, and our thoughts about this team and this season will be changed quite a bit once that goes. But I do really quickly just want to say I thought an impressive win for KU in that first game. We'll see where that takes them moving forward. But if nothing else, it seems like Peyton Bender, the quarterback, and then Doug Meacham, the offensive coordinator, could have a very positive effect on this year's team. But again, time will tell, and as you listen to this podcast, you will probably know better than we do right now at this moment whether KU might have a successful season or not. You'll know if KU is 1-1 or 2-0 if you're listening to this in about 28 hours. So any final thoughts, Gary, before we wrap this podcast up?
No, I believe it's supposed to rain today, so Bill Self's busy and he won't be doing any golf anyway. They got him running all over town, so it should be a nice day and a nice ceremony tonight. The Symphony Hall is supposed to be kind of a movie theater type seating, so it should be a nice intimate setting for all the inductees, I would think.
Yep, and he talked about how he's practiced his speech so much. He's got 8 minutes to talk, so we'll all be interested in seeing what he says and who he thanks and all the stories he tells in that 8-minute speech as Bill Self gets inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. That's going to wrap up the Sports Beat KC podcast for this week. For Gary, this is Jesse. Thanks again for tuning in, and be sure to tune in for another episode next week.